Hello everybody, Steve here from CSC with another video. Hope everybody is doing okay. Please do subscribe to our channel, Common Sense Christianity. Hopefully these videos are helpful, informative, which is really what I want to do in these series of videos that I'm putting out there. And please do feel free to give me some feedback. Let me know how I'm doing. Give me some suggestions about what to talk about. But most importantly, give us a thumbs up if you like the videos. If not, let us know why. We'd be pleased to hear from you either way. So anyway, what I want to talk about today real quickly is in my narcissist videos, I have been telling you what to look out for, especially in regards to maybe a church, spiritual leader, pastor, so forth and so on. I've been giving you some of the telltale signs of narcissism coming from church leaders, what to look for, what are some of the things that let you know pretty straight away that your pastor or spiritual leader is indeed a narcissist. But in this quick video, I'm going to tell you some of the things to look for in a good pastor, in a pastor that is not a narcissist, that is not someone who is using you to feed their ego and feed their and searching to feed their narcissistic supply. And one of the things that you should look for in a pastor, in anybody to tell you the truth, but especially in a pastor or church leader or even any kind of leader at all, is humbleness. If a person is humble, that is a good indicator that they aren't a narcissist, or that they aren't portraying narcissistic tendencies. And I'm not talking about like a fake humility where they tell you, out and out that they're humble, or I've heard some people say, I would have gone upside somebody's head, or I would have beat somebody up, but I'm a humble person. And I don't do those kind of things. And that's not the kind of humbleness that I'm talking about. The kind of humbleness that I'm talking about is a person who demonstrates that in their lives, who demonstrate a certain amount of humbleness and, not wanting to be so much in the spotlight as more as doing what they need to do in a quiet and unassuming manner. That's the kind of humbleness I'm talking about. A humbleness where a person, a pastor, a leader will readily admit their mistake. And we all make mistakes. But if you notice, some of the narcissistic pastors and leaders, they will never admit when they're wrong. Or they will admit they're wrong only when they're under duress. And even when they admit it, there'll be an excuse associated with that. So in other words, they say, well, I was wrong, but if so-and-so hadn't done this, or but if the situation wasn't like this, then, I wouldn't have made this mistake, or something made me make this mistake. Whereas a humble pastor, humble leader will readily admit not only to his shortcomings, but to their mistakes as well. And they will be humble enough to tell you that, you know what, I said the wrong thing, or I taught the wrong thing, or I did the wrong thing. Here is what I should have did. Here is what I should have said, and so forth and so on. And you'll notice narcissistic pastors will always place the blame on someone else, even if it's clear that they did something wrong. Another sign a good sign of a pastor is that you are able to go and talk to them person to person, man to man, man to woman, whatever the case might be, and they will make you feel like you are being heard, and they will, be empathetic to whatever it is that you're telling them, and they will honor your trust. They will honor whatever it is that you tell them, and they will give you, the best counsel that they can. They will give you godly biblical counsel on whatever the situation may be. And no one will ever hear about it. If confidentiality is important to you, then it'll never be said. However, with a narcissistic individual, they will give you advice that will either benefit them or benefit their endeavor. In other words, they won't give you the best possible counsel. They won't give you the wisest information. However, whatever they say to you always, in some kind of way, turns back to them and how it will benefit them, if they tell you a certain thing. And so somebody that's going to give you godly counsel is going to talk to you in confidence, going to talk to you in a way that is good for you and not good for them. In my many years, I've seen these narcissistic pastors give people advice, for example, not to go in and get a medical exam for a condition that they have, or not to do a certain kind of treatment because the pastor said, oh, you need to trust God, and I spoke a word to you. And so, in other words, they are trying to define their ministry and their power, so to speak, because they're claiming a certain thing for you. And that thing would be, not to trust in doctors and not to take this medication because God is going to heal you. And in their mind, it will always turn back to them. So, by some chance, God does heal you. It'll always be because of the thing that they told you to do or not to do. And that will give them more prestige, more power, more glory. But if you have a medical condition, God has given us methods of healing that aren't directly from Him. He's given us doctors and methodologies to combat certain illnesses and to, in effect, heal us. And this is equally from God, even though it's not God directly coming down and healing. God has provided the methodology and scientists and doctors who can alleviate certain conditions. And that's not to say that we don't pray and that we don't seek God, but sometimes God provides us the methods for healing that simply involve us going to the doctor and doing what the doctor says and taking certain treatments. Inevitably, we always trust God, but God has provided us with means towards healing and of the body. And so these are just a few of the signs. I'll probably have another 1 or 2 videos on this, but I wanted to just give you a heads up because you might actually be in a church. You might be trying to figure out whether your pastor is a narcissist or not. So I want to give you some tips just to understand what a good pastor is versus a narcissistic pastor. And in all of my years in church and ministry, I can pretty much say that narcissistic pastors will always lead to some form of resentment or spiritual decay. And in almost every single situation, I would advise somebody to leave a church where there is a narcissistic pastor or narcissistic leadership, because inevitably it will not benefit you, because they are not going to give you sound biblical instruction that's going to help you. They will only be looking for sources of supply that will build up whatever they are doing, and in the long run, it will not be beneficial to you spiritually. So, just wanted to share that with you. Hope it helps. And like I said in the beginning, please do subscribe to our channel. We're trying to grow it, and we're trying to do some different things. And we certainly would like your support. Give us a thumbs up. And also important is to give us some feedback. We'd like to get feedback from you. And we certainly will respond to you in kind. So once again, thank you for listening. God bless you, and see you next time.